Hello everyone and welcome back to Sundays in the Garden. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and on this channel I share everything I'm getting up to in my English cottage garden and kitchen garden area. And in 2025 that literally does mean everything, as I am filming every single day of a gardener's year. The majority of those days are spent here in the cottage garden and kitchen garden areas, and if I'm not here, I'm sharing what I'm doing out and about, whether that be visiting other gardens, reading about gardens, thinking about gardens, and everything else gardening related that makes up this gardener's year. In doing so, I'm hoping to inspire other people to get out in their gardens every day and also share what I'm doing in case that's useful to other people to see what makes up a gardener's year. It's been brilliant to see the community really growing this year, and if it sounds like something that would be useful to you too, I would love for you to subscribe so you can join the community as we learn and grow together. Today is going to begin with a touch of gardening reality because there's an area down by the house where I've been piling up all of the cuttings I've been taking, all of the things I've been clearing up into one huge pile that now needs to be sorted out, and I'm going to see if I can cut it down small enough to fit into our brown garden bin. So that is the first job this Sunday morning. So here it is, the current pile of shame. And this is the culmination of both pruning the laurel tree behind the shed area and various prunings around the pond area. And the bin was full, so there was nowhere to put it, so it ended up in a big pile here. Now the bin has been emptied, I am just spending some time cutting it all down, and I was absolutely amazed to find that I could actually fit it all into the bin. There is more hiding behind the side of the house there, which I was cutting up, but I'm managing to squeeze it in fairly well, and I'm keeping any larger branches to use for structures in the garden later in the year. Here I am squashing it down some more, pop those last few cuttings in, and then a sweep up. And all done. Absolutely brilliant. And down here you can see the offcuts I'm keeping to use to make structures. Hi guys, it's still Sunday and the wind has really picked up now, so I thought what better time to come inside, keep warm, grab a cup of tea and give the bench behind me its second coat of paint. I won't bore you by making you watch paint dry, but I'll catch up with you at the end. Okay, so all of that has had at least one coat. Majority of it's now had two coats, which is absolutely brilliant. So it won't be long before that's ready to go back outside. Another brilliant job done. And time for a cuppa. Hi guys, I'm up here with the hellebores today because I am going to see if I can give a hellebore bowl a go. I've never made one before, and these unassuming flowers are so beautiful, but they often spend a lot of time with their heads pointing down. So it'd be lovely to enjoy them for even longer in the house. So I'm going to give it a go and see how I get on. I'm just going to snip the heads where they're drooping. And there's plenty more buds coming on here, so we'll have loads more flowers to enjoy. And then I'm adding the flower heads to a bowl of water to create this beautiful display. I just love them. Has anyone else given this a go? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. They look absolutely beautiful. And how lovely to have flowers from the garden to enjoy in the house in the month of February. Hi guys, you may remember a few weeks ago I picked up some ginger from B&Q and I was also looking for some turmeric, but they didn't have any. So I went into Tesco's and picked up some turmeric tubers, as you can see here, and I'm going to have a go at seeing if I can grow my own turmeric plants from these tubers. So what I'm going to do is put these turmeric bulbs in a bowl of water and soak them overnight, and then put them in some compost to see if I can get any sprouting tomorrow. So I'll share that with you then. But it would be amazing if I can get these to sprout. Now, apparently some shop bought turmeric is treated so that it doesn't sprout. So that might be what happens here. But I'm going to give it a go because there's no way of knowing unless I give it a try. So I'll share the journey with you. Fingers crossed. Tuesday afternoon was sunny and warm, so after playing in the garden for a little while, my little boys and I built 2 new vegetable beds. These beds are for the boys because they requested their very own beds to match Mummy's. I picked these up for £14 in B&Q, which I thought was a real bargain. Once we'd finished putting them together, I popped them over by the fence, ready to fill with compost in a few weeks' time. After this, I moved down to the pond area to plant out my lavender cuttings, which were now rooted and ready to plant out. Next, it was time to move some forget-me-nots which had set up home in our salad bed. We used to have so many beautiful forget-me-nots down by the pond area, but I haven't seen any in recent years. So I dug these up and took them down to the pond area, where I hope that the forget-me-not colony will re-establish themselves down here. I'm not sure what made them migrate up to the kitchen garden area, and whilst they're beautiful and there are still some around the back of the greenhouse, they are much better suited down here so I can use the vegetable beds for growing. When my little boy saw what I was doing, he decided he would like to help too, and I soon had 2 ready helpers moving the forget-me-nots with me. They love seeing what I'm doing and getting involved, and it's just so lovely to see. With 2 extra pairs of hands, the job was completed in no time. Then there was just time to test the resolver I picked up at the garden press event, as well as some vinegar and water that were suggested by one of my lovely viewers, which would come out on top. If there was even a slight comparison, I would always go for the natural method. So we spray 1 fence panel with the resolver here, and then the other fence panel with this water and white vinegar spray. It's 1 part vinegar to 4 parts water. We watch and wait and see how they do. I'm also trying the same thing down here on this patio slab with the white vinegar and water mix on the left hand side, and then the resolver on the right. I can watch back over this video and see which areas I treated with which spray. Again, the right hand side here on this pot I'm using the resolver, and on the left the vinegar and water. Let's see how they do. Hi guys, it's Wednesday lunchtime and I've got my 15 minutes today, so I'm going to try to plant my garlic and turmeric. If you remember, I had some garlic that I picked up at B&Q, which is in this bowl here, and I had some turmeric that I picked up from Tesco's. This is not growing turmeric necessarily, but I'm hoping that I may be able to grow some turmeric from these tubers. I am aware that sometimes shop-bought tubers are treated in order to stop them sprouting, so that could be the case with these. So I may not have any luck, but I won't know unless I try. This is the ginger that I picked up at B&Q recently, and this is specifically for growing, so this should grow well. This is the turmeric that I picked up in Tesco's, and this one is to be used for cooking, but I know some people have had success by soaking this in water and it's sprouting and producing more turmeric. These are the same as the tubers you'd buy, but sometimes shops do treat them to prevent them from sprouting, so I won't know whether that's the case with these until I try, so we're going to give this a go. These have been soaking for 48 hours now. I put them in the water on Monday lunchtime, and it is now Wednesday lunchtime, so they've had 48 hours in the water. I have seen people actually leave them in the water until they sprout, so that is something you can do. But in this case, I'm going to move them into some houseplant compost. This is the type of compost that I've got. Apparently, garlic and turmeric do really well in this kind of compost. I've chosen the houseplant compost because it should therefore be gnat free, fly free, because these are going to be staying indoors because they need warm temperatures. To make this compost, you remove the recyclable sleeve, open the bag, fill it with 3 litres of water and wait for it to expand. And here's one I made earlier. I've got these 2 pots here. They're probably a bit small for what I need, but I'm going to pop them in these for now and then transplant them if they do succeed and begin to grow. I don't want to waste some really huge pots if they don't succeed. So we're just going to try it with these small ones that I just collected from the greenhouse. And if they do well, then we will transplant them later. Then I'm going to fill them with the house compost. So both of these plants like to be grown in similar ways. And when I've been looking this up, I've been doing a fair amount of research on it. And it seems that they tend to do better when they're grown inside as opposed to when they're grown outside, particularly in a climate like this one. Okay, so I've filled it up to the rim of the pot, and then I'm just going to take this ginger out, give it a little shake, and to work out where this one is going to sprout from. Not sure. So because I've only got the one here, I'm going to just lay it in the middle of the pot. Then I'm going to cover it over just so it's concealed but not too deep with some more of the house compost. The brilliant thing about growing turmeric and ginger, if I'm successful, is that you would then never need to buy the tubers again, because every time you harvest, you just keep some of your tubers and replant them and grow more turmeric and more ginger. So in theory, you buy once and harvest forever. My hope with these is that I will be able to make some homemade ginger and turmeric tea. I'm going to pour a little of the water that's been sitting in on the top. Save wasting water. And now I'm going to repeat the process for the turmeric. And once again, I'm going to use the water that it was soaking in to give it its first water, so I don't waste this water. And there you have it, ginger and turmeric all potted up. Fingers crossed, if all goes to plan, I'll be harvesting these in a few months' time. Hi guys, happy Thursday. I hope you're all well and having a great week. I've had a brilliant morning because I went to pick up my latest copy of Kitchen Garden magazine, and inside we have the wonderful Clare at the Farmyard Garden, and then here I am. Amazing. There are 2 pages where I answered some questions for the guys at Kitchen Garden and sent in some photos. So that is absolutely wonderful because I have read this for a long time. So to be in the magazine is just wonderful and so exciting. We've been out this morning with some friends. We went to a forest to enjoy the lovely sunshine and had a lovely play. Then I picked up this magazine on the way home, and this afternoon we've got our afternoon of catching up with our home ed work. So that is the plan for the rest of the day. So it's now lunchtime and I've got my 15 minutes to see what I can get done. I'm itching to sow some more seeds. I've got lots more to sow. Let's see if there's anything I can sow for 15 minutes now. So also just taking a moment to appreciate that I'm not wearing a coat today, which is so lovely. It does feel very spring-like, and there are lots of bulbs poking through now. So it's not long, guys. It really isn't long. Okay, I'm going to try and sow either the cosmos or the marigolds. Let's go for the cosmos first because these are my absolute favourites. And then if I get time, I'll do these as well. If not, tomorrow. Let's put that somewhere safe. Can't believe I'm in a magazine. Has that got anything in it? Nope. I'm going to go and fill that up. Back in a sec. Okay. I'm giving the compost a light water just to stop the seeds moving around when I put them in. So these are the apricot lemonade variety, and I absolutely love them. I grew them last year. And these ones are probably going out the front of our house because I've got an area that I'm clearing. One of our neighbours had some cosmos outside the front of their house last year, and they just looked wonderful. Who's making that noise up there? Is there someone up there? Sounds like a person. Maybe it's my next door neighbour. Hello, next door neighbour. Thinking I'm crazy for talking to myself in the greenhouse. He's probably already established I'm crazy. Well before now. Sounds like someone chopping. And I've been just over 10 minutes here, but not enough time to start off the marigolds. So I will save those for tomorrow. I'm not really covering these very much at all, just so I can't see them. Same as the tomatoes, really, because seeds like this would just fall on the soil and kind of get worked in slightly, but they're not going to be very, very deep. Now, just to try and find some space on the shelves. Hello everyone and happy Friday. As you will have just seen, I've received my delivery of the wool compost from Dalefoot Farm. I've got one compost for vegetables and salads and one for potting. So that is brilliant. I will try those out over the next few months and keep you posted on how I get on with them. Those of you who were watching last week will remember that I was kindly gifted these from the team at Dalefoot Composts and invited to visit their farm sometime over the next few months. So that's really exciting and I can't wait to try out this compost and share with you how I get on with it. Also, the lovely Allie from the Right Pear Plot sent me some tomato seeds because she saw that I was starting to sow my tomatoes and has sent me some amazing different varieties to try. So I've got Sunrise Jazz, a beefsteak variety. I've got Black Strawberry. I've got Japanese Black Trifle. Ali can let me know how you say that correctly. Hearts of Gold. Dr. Witch's Yellow Beefsteak. Cherokee Carbon Beefsteak Indeterminate Heirloom. Amazing. Apricot Zebra. That sounds exciting. A stripy one. And Sartre Rolloise, spelt like this. Excuse my terrible pronunciation. So thank you so much, Ali. I will keep at least one of each of these varieties for home, and then I will be selling any additional ones that I managed to germinate at our plant sale in aid of Marie Curie at the end of the month. So that's so kind of you. Hi to Allie and Tricia, and thank you so much again. You'll remember yesterday I managed to sow my cosmos, so today I'm going to try and sow my marigolds, and also, if I get time, some strawberries as well. My parents have taken my two little boys out, and I didn't get my 15 minutes at lunchtime, I have just done some clearing out here on the decking area, just getting rid of some of the cuttings that I took off of the meadowsweet and things like that. So that's all tidied up, and now I'm just going to see if I can sow a few seeds before they come back and have a cup of tea. Okay, so once again, I've filled these with the B&Q Verve seed and cutting compost, which seems to be great for starting the seeds. I've got, oh, hello. All of my seeds in the house and out here have been doing really well. Again, I'm watering the compost to stop the seeds moving around once I've put them in. I'm going to do strawberries in one of these and the marigolds in the other one. These are the unwind strawberries, Delician F1s, and it says they're ideal for containers. These are going in containers that I'm going to hang along the bar at the top of the fruit cage. So fingers crossed they do well, because this is the first time of doing this. And I've only ever bought small plants, plugs of strawberries, or taken runners off the strawberries that we've got to increase the stock we've got. So how many seeds are there? They're really tiny, as you can imagine, because we all know what the seeds of a strawberry look like on the outside of a strawberry. Wow, where's that one gone? So many going to disappear in this in here. Let me just one. Can you even? Oh gosh, it was so small. It's stuck under my nail. Where's that one gone? There's one there. 2. I managed to get these in a row. It will be a miracle. 3, 4, 10. Oh my gosh. It doesn't look like there'll be any spares of these, if any come through for the plant sale, being only 10 seeds. But fingers crossed they germinate. So I'm going to put these marigolds under my tomatoes in here. Any tomatoes I plant outside, I'll put these underneath as well, along with some basil. So I'm going to have some marigolds, some basil and some tomatoes together. And I might dot some more just sporadically around the kitchen garden area as well. Do I have any gaps? 2 more sets of seeds sown, and it feels like spring really is just around the corner now. Ooh, so exciting! With the seedlings out enjoying the sunshine, I spent the morning at the front of our property, planting and clearing. Then, after lunch, it was out to clear down this dead Spirea Thunberg. It's been in the area for a really long time and we love it, but it's finally succumbed to the wet conditions and rotted away, as you can see by how easy it is to just pull out of the ground and break apart. And so begins another pile. Next, I dug a hole in the area and filled it with some horticultural sand, followed by some horticultural grit. This is just to improve drainage in this area for the new plant that I'm putting in. I worked the sand and the grit together and then turned over the area with a fork just to work it in further, and finally topped it off with some compost to feed the new plant. After working that into the area and levelling it all off, I went up to the greenhouse to collect my new Spirea Thunberg. This was from Sutton's, and I really hope that it does thrive in this area like its predecessor. I'm hoping with the improved drainage I've put in underneath and this new compost to feed it, it will get off to a good start. Fingers crossed for this one. Then we played some games in the garden, and I put some moss that I found in a different area of the garden on top of the bird feeder for them to use for their nests. Then we finished off our sunny Saturday in the garden with seed sowing on the decking. A Saturday very well spent. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video today, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again next week for another episode of this Gardener's Year.